Investiture of the Gods, Chapter 88.
We're looking at the late stages of the Zhushang War.
That's right. Specifically, the campaign to take Mianchi.
Which sounds small, but it's this incredibly tough nut to crack.
It really is. And our mission today is to unpack how Grand Marshal Zhang Jia finally breaks through. Because it's not just about military might, you know.
Not at all.
It's about showing that the mandate of heaven isn't just a blank check. It comes with a very specific, almost divinely choreographed battle plan.
And the frustration for the Zhou at this point is just, it's huge. The text says Zhang Jia is mourning the losses of these heroes who upheld the Lord and secured the nation.
Yeah, these are irreplaceable generals they're losing. All for this one city, defended by General Zhang Ku and his wife, Gao Lanying.
It feels like a total stalemate.
A very painful one.
Yeah.
And Zhang Ku, he knows this is his best strategy. Just hold on. But he's also in a pretty desperate spot himself. Well, the new Shang Grand Marshal, Yuan Heng, is just sitting at Mengjin with 200,000 troops.
And he's not coming to help.
Not at all. He's leaving Mianchi to hang out and dry. So Zhang Ku's only real option is what his wife, Gao Lanning, tells him. Just dig in, wear them down, and hope for the best.
A slow, grinding war of attrition.
Exactly. And on a purely human level, that probably would have worked.
But this isn't a purely human war, is it?
Not even close. They're playing chess. But destiny is, playing a completely different game on a cosmic scale.
And that shift really starts with the arrival of a messenger, right? This young Taoist just shows up out of nowhere.
He's carrying a letter. And this letter changes everything. It's not a siege anymore. It's a mission.
Okay, so who's the letter from?
It's from Jiliason. Now, remember, he was the mentor of Tigingqing's son.
The general that Zhang Ku killed earlier.
The very same. And the letter starts with this incredible admission. Jiliason says his own disciple's death was an unavoidable fate.
Whoa, okay. An unavoidable fate.
Predetermined by the cosmos.
Yeah.
It just had to happen.
But wait a minute. If a general's death is unavoidable, if it's already written, then what's the point of Zhang Jia's strategy? Does he even have free will here?
That is the big question, isn't it? It's the central paradox, the grand outcome, the Zhou winning that's fixed. It's destiny.
Okay.
But the gods aren't just going to hand it to them. They set the rules. They provide the tools. Jiliason is basically sending Zhang Jia the assembly instructions for victory.
So the what is decided, but Zhang Jia has to manage the how.
Perfectly put. It's delegated destiny. And if he messes up the instructions, he doesn't change the final outcome, but he risks more losses, more delays.
And these instructions are super specific.
Oh, incredibly granular. This isn't just send your best soldiers. It's an exact personnel list for very specific jobs.
So walk us through the plan. Who does what?
It's a two-pronged attack. First, for the city itself, you need pure speed and overwhelming power. That's Nuza and Lai Zhenzi.
The flyers. They can get over the walls.
Instantly. Then, for hunting down Zhang Ku himself, who's super evasive, you need the specialists. Yang Jian, Yang Ren, and Wei Hu.
And Zhang Jia has to kick the whole thing off personally.
Yes, using the luring the tiger out of the mountain strategy. Right. And this is where it gets really startling. He has to use the king as bait.
He used King Wu, the future emperor.
He has to. The source says Zhang Ku has so much contempt for Zhang Jia, sees him as just some old man, that only a massive personal insult would work.
So he needs the biggest bait he can find.
The ultimate bait.
And
King Wu, who's described as this loyal and honest gentleman, he agrees.
That's unbelievable trust. He just rides out to the city walls with Zhang Jia and starts pointing and mocking the defender.
It's an act of pure faith in the divine plan, and it works. Zhang Ku just explodes with rage. Zhang Jia mocks me too severely.
And he comes charging out.
Chases him for 10 miles. The tiger is officially out of the mountain.
And the second he leaves, the counterattack on the city begins.
Instantly. Which leaves Gao Lanning, Zhang Ku's wife, to defend the walls alone.
And she's a formidable warrior in her own right.
Absolutely. But she's about to face something that operates on a different level of speed. She sees Niza coming at her.
In his full battle form, right. 3 heads, 8 arms, on the windfire wheels.
The whole terrifying package. She knows she needs her best weapon.
The sun god needles.
Yes, from her gourd. A really potent spiritual weapon that attacks the mind. But the text makes a really crucial point here.
What's that?
She's just too slow.
Really?
Just a fraction of a second too slow. Before she can even get the needles out, Niza hits her with the universe ring and his spear. And it's over.
Wow. So even her magic couldn't match the speed of a celestial agent on a mission.
It's a tragic moment, really.
Yeah.
And the poetry in the source honors her. It calls her a fierce woman of high chastity with unfailing loyalty. Her defeat wasn't a moral failure.
It was just a cosmological necessity.
And with her gone, Mianchi just crumbles. Lei Zhenzi sweeps up the rest of the soldiers with his golden rod, and the Zhou army pours in. Phase 1 is done.
Okay, but what about the tiger? Zhang Kui.
He realizes he's been tricked. Right. He turns back, sees Niza, and knows he can't win a direct fight.
So he ran.
He does more than run. He uses his ultimate escape skill, the earth-traveling technique.
So he just vanishes into the ground?
Like wind and lightning. He's heading underground straight for the Yellow River. But this wasn't a surprise. This was all part of the trap.
Okay, so this is where that specialized pursuit team comes in. How on earth do you catch a man traveling through solid rock?
You need a system. It's this beautiful piece of magical choreography. First, you've got Yang Ren on his cloud red beast.
He's the tracker.
Exactly. He has these divine eyes in the palms of his hands, and they can see Zhang Ku's energy signature, even deep underground.
So he's following from above ground.
Then, flying even higher up, is Wei Hu. He's just watching Yang Ren, waiting for the signal.
No order.
Right. And then you have the third piece, the linchpin, Yang Jane. He's not chasing at all. He's just waiting.
Waiting where?
At the bank of the Yellow River. He knows exactly where Zhang Ku is going.
And this whole thing hinges on that one piece of magic tech you mentioned.
The talisman from Jillisan. The finger ground into steel talisman.
So what does it do?
The moment Yang Ren signals Zhang Ku is near the riverbank, Yang Jin burns it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't attack Zhang Ku directly.
No.
It changes the environment around him.
Yeah.
The earth he's moving through, which was like water to him, suddenly becomes like solid iron.
So it traps him.
Completely. He's pinned. Can't go forward. Can't go back. He's caught in solid ground.
The 7-killer god, trapped. And then comes the final blow.
Yang Ren points to the spot. Wei Hu dives. And he strikes with the demon-quelling mace.
Why that weapon specifically? It sounds like it's for, well, demons.
That's the key. Zhang Ku's earth skill is seen as this chaotic, unpredictable power tied to, spirits of the earth. It threatens the celestial order.
I see.
So to destroy him, you need a sacred weapon that represents that very order, a weapon that suppresses evil spirits. It's not just killing him, it's erasing him. The text says he's reduced to ash and dust.
Set, gone. A perfectly executed celestial assassination. The complexity is amazing.
It is. And then, after all this high magic, the story just pivots instantly.
Right. The 3 heroes report back, and suddenly we're talking about logistics.
The whole army is marching to the Yellow River, and it's the dead of winter. The source has this amazing imagery, sleeves folded like holding ice.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
So Jiang Ziya has to go from being a manager of gods to a manager of cold, tired, mortal army.
And this is where his leadership really shines, beyond the divine strategy. He needs to get his army across the river. He needs boats.
But he doesn't just take them.
No, and this is a huge deal. He pays the civilians 5 kwans of silver for every single boat.
He's actively demonstrating that the Zhou are different from the Shang. This isn't a tyranny.
He's earning the mandate of heaven, not just with divine weapons, but with ethical conduct. And the people see it. They give him this incredible title.
The timely rain teacher.
Like a life-giving rain in a drought. It shows he's both a celestial warrior and a moral leader.
You need both.
You absolutely need both.
And finally, they get to the river itself. King Wu and Jiang Ziya are on this special dragon boat, but the crossing isn't easy.
No, it's chaos. The river is raging, waves are massive. King Wu is actually worried, asking why it's so violent, even after their great victory.
The description is intense. 1,000 layers of fierce waves roll.
And Jiang Ziya's answer is it's very practical. He says it's the current, the wind, the boat. But you can see the metaphor.
Yeah.
Even with destiny on your side, the final steps are still going to be turbulent. The mandate doesn't promise a calm journey, just a safe arrival.
The river crossing is just fraught with danger, both, literal and political.
Yeah.
We see King Wu, who we think of as this great future king, and he's initially terrified.
Okay, let's just paint this psychological scene the sources give us. King Wu is on this dragon boat, and he's staring out at the Yellow River.
And it's not a calm river. It's described as churning with endless white waves.
The text says he's so overwhelmed by the sheer scale of it all, the terror of what he's about to do, that his face is ashen as earth. This is not the picture of a confident conqueror.
No, not at all. It speaks volumes about the gravity of what he's doing, which is invading the sitting sovereign, King Zhou of Shang. The river itself is like a metaphor for these insurmountable odds.
He's paralyzed.
He is. By the physical danger, sure, but maybe even more by the psychological burden of starting a revolution.
And right here is where the political narrative just completely takes over the natural world.
Oh, absolutely. The symbolic intervention. As the boat is getting tossed around in this whirlpool, water suddenly splits, and a pristine white fish leaps out.
With a loud noise, it says. It sails 4 or 5 feet high and lands right in the cabin of the boat. King Wu is, understandably startled.
That fish is everything. If you're going to launch a revolution, you need that divine stamp of approval. And his chief strategist, Jianxia, is a master of political theater.
It doesn't miss a beat.
Not for a second. He immediately interprets this fish as a grand sign, a direct message from heaven, confirming the downfall of King Zhou and, the imminent success of the Zhou dynasty.
Wait, so just accepting a fish, killing it, and eating it is the only thing standing between them and disaster. How did King Wu react to that?
Well, he protests at first. He says unacceptable, and he wants to throw the fish back. He's still showing reverence for the old cosmic order.
That's the core tension, isn't it? He wants to do heaven's will, but he's still psychologically bound by the world he's trying to overthrow.
Exactly. And Xia just shuts that hesitation down instantly with this crucial political line. He says, "Heaven's gift is not taken, then misfortune is received." He's telling King Wu in no uncertain terms, your humility is actually risking the mandate. You have to accept this sign. You have to act on it now.
So the fish is killed. They cook it for the generals. It's this divine meal that seals their destiny.
Precisely. And the immediate result is stunning. Right after they eat it, the wind calms down, the waves just cease, and the crossing is completed smoothly.
So the symbolic act wasn't just abstract. It literally pacified the natural world.
It did, and in doing so, it cemented the legitimacy in the minds of every single soldier and general on that boat. They now believe they're operating under divine favor.
So King Wu makes it across. He's not just a rebel leader anymore. He's acting under a heavenly mandate. Which is good, because waiting for him at Mengjin are 400 feudal lords.
A massive assembly of allies, all eager for action. But Jianxia looks at this big celebratory atmosphere and he sees a political time bomb.
A time bomb.
Why? Well, the political tightrope walk begins immediately. And Xia's strategy here is, frankly, masterful. He knew that if the lords, in all their excitement, immediately started venerating King Wu as their new sovereign.
Yeah, bowing and calling him Your Majesty and all that.
Right. If that happened, King Wu might suffer what the text calls a.
What exactly is middle collapse? Why would celebrating an early victory lead to that?
It's a fantastic insight into ancient political psychology. It basically means his morale, his confidence might fail because he would look like he was rashly seizing power while the Shang dynasty was still technically intact.
So by accepting the title of king too early, he looks like a con and usurper.
Exactly. Motivated by self-interest, not by heaven's will, Xia was controlling the entire narrative to prevent any appearance of, revolutionary greed.
That's why he's so cautious. He doesn't even let King Wu walk into the party.
No, Xia goes ashore first. He establishes this incredibly rigorous military camp, strict discipline.
And why was that so important? Why the discipline before the handshakes?
It was to signal seriousness and virtue. The allies needed to see discipline first, not ambition. And once that order was set, Xia laid down this very specific political line to all 400 lords.
The crucial instruction: they must not use the true revolutionary reason for the campaign.
Right, which is punishing the sovereign and comforting the people.
That's incredible political discipline. They couldn't even use their righteous cause.
No, because that sounds like declaring war on a sitting sovereign. Instead, he tells them, you must use the public much softer excuse of observing the governance of Shang.
So they're framing this whole invasion as a concerned inspection tour.
We're just here to look around, see how things are going, maybe pressure King Zhou to reform. It's not an overthrow, it's an intervention.
And the sources confirm this coalition just explodes in size. It starts at 400, then another 200 Western lords show up. We're talking over 600 total.
It is undeniable power. And yet, when King Wu finally does enter the camp, the lords immediately start praising him, urging him to save the people from King Zhu's tyranny. They're ready to go.
And this is where King Wu himself has to reinforce the strategy through Well, through sheer performance.
Oh, it's a performance. He refuses to take the main supreme seat. He insists he is merely observing the governance of Shang and that he's seeking guidance from them. He's actively avoiding the appearance of having, quote, rashly raised an army.
His strategic humility is brilliant. He basically forces the allies to provide the public justification for him.
He does. He positions himself as this reluctant servant of heaven, compelled to act by the distress of the people and the collective will of the realm.
And the allies deliver immediately. A lord named Yuzu Hoya Chuliang steps up and just lays out this searing catalog of King Zhu's sins.
A whole list of them. Killing his wife and son, burning loyalists alive, ignoring heaven, failing to sacrifice, and, crucially, favoring criminals. He argues that heaven itself is angry, and they are just executing heaven's punishment.
This is the moral case. Shang is irredeemable, but King Wu still pushes back.
He still resists, yeah. He maintains his facade, saying he only wants to observe governance, capture the ruler's corrupt favorites, and, make the ruler change his ways. He's giving the Shang one last, completely fake, out.
But the allies won't let him off the hook. Yanzhu Pengzushu delivers the definitive argument, really, the one that justifies the whole revolution.
This is the moment. This is when the mandate of heaven doctrine is explicitly invoked to overturn the entire system. He says the radical truth. Heaven's mandate is not permanent, only the virtuous reside in it.
And he brings up history to prove it.
Yes, he cites the succession of the legendary emperors Yao, Shun, and Yu, and he reminds them of how King Tang overthrew the corrupt King Ji of the Xia.
Why is that specific example so crucial right here?
Because it establishes a clear, repeatable precedent. Before the Zhou, the idea was that the ruler came from a continuous divine line. But the mandate of heaven doctrine, which the Zhou were championing, said no. If a ruler becomes immoral, like Ji was, then heaven withdraws its support.
And a virtuous person, like King Tang, is not just allowed to rise up, he's required to.
Precisely. So by this logic, King Wu isn't a rebel. He's correcting a cosmic misalignment. He's just doing the same necessary job that King Tang did centuries before. Power is conditional. It's based on virtue.
Okay, so once that philosophical bomb is dropped, the debate is basically over.
It is. The legitimacy is confirmed. Zia steps in, says the serious discussion is done for now, and they hold a feast.
And looking at the list of who was there, Nan Bohu, Yishun, Bei, Bohuchang, Yingliuan, it confirms this is a true national mandate. But the sources also point out that East Bohu Jiangwanwan is missing.
Yeah, he's still tied up in his own local battles, so it's not a perfectly unified front yet, but it's very, very close. They have the numbers, and more importantly now, they have the moral justification. The political phase is a complete success.
All right, so with the politics settled, we shift from philosophical debate to what's coming next. The military conflict. The news of this massive assembly reaches the Shang camp, which is commanded by a general named Yuan Hong.
And Yuan Hong's reaction is just defined by this fatal arrogance. He completely dismisses the army. He specifically scoffs at Zia, calling him a panxi villager.
A nobody from the countryside.
Right. He thinks all of Zhu's successes so far are just because other Shang generals were careless. He completely ignores the pragmatic advice from his own counselor.
So he underestimates the enemy, a classic mistake. One of Zia's own men, Yimen Bogu Gaikui, urges him to attack immediately, to show this common fellow Yuan Hong that heaven's officer cannot be fought.
He wants speed, decisive action. But Zia, again, doesn't rush. His response is so measured, and it just reinforces this image of Zhu, virtue, and law, even on the brink of battle.
He agrees to the attack.
But he insists on sending a formal declaration of war first.
Why bother with the paperwork? I mean, given the logistics of moving millions of soldiers, wouldn't speed be the most important thing?
Because they have to show they follow protocol, unlike the tyrannical Shang. Zia says that by issuing a formal declaration, only then can we show the world that vice can only be conquered by virtue. It's a final documented justification for the history books.
It's the ultimate PR campaign backed by an army.
It is. So Yang Jian delivers the challenge, Yuan Hong curtly accepts, and they agree to meet the next day.
And that next day, the muster's just spectacular. 600 lords are lined up. Zia's center is all red flags. The flanks have these 5-colored banners. The poem in the text confirms the scale. Millions of brave soldiers.
It's an incredible image.
So let's picture the commanders. Zia is riding his mythical creature, the Sibu Shang. King Wu is on his swift horse, the Xiaoyou Ma.
And across the field stands the enemy, Yuan Hong. Silver helmet, plain armor, an iron rod, sitting on a white horse. But the source gives us the description of him that tells us immediately that we are not dealing with conventional warfare anymore.
This is where the story shifts dramatically, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've just spent all this time on political strategy and moral mandate.
And now we find out who the enemy really is. Yuan Hong is noted for his expertise in yin-yang secrets and his ability to make many transformations. He's the leader of the Meishan forces, and crucially, the source later identifies him as secretly a snake spirit.
A snake spirit. We went from careful political messaging and omens to literally fighting shapeshifters in one paragraph. How does Ziya even begin to strategize against that?
And that is the core conflict for the rest of the novel. The war for the mandate of heaven isn't just a clash of dynasties, it's a spiritual war. It involves demons, immortals, all sorts of fantastic creatures. Yuan Hong reflects Kengzu's descent into pure chaos. His generals are literally monsters.
The opening trash talk suddenly makes more sense. Ziya urges surrender one last time, and Yuan Hong just mocks him about his past as a simple fisherman.
Right. He sees Ziya as beneath him, regardless of the size of his army, and that mockery leads to the first blow. Yuan Hong sends a general forward.
But Yao Shuliang immediately charges out to meet him.
And the text says Yao Shuliang fights with real skill. He's a great human warrior, but he has no idea that his opponent, a guy named Chang Hao, is secretly another Meishan snake spirit.
So this is Ziyu's conventional military excellence colliding head-on with supernatural trickery.
Exactly. And Yao Shuliang, fighting honorably, actually forces Chang Hao to retreat and pursues him off the field. But the immediate outcome of that chase is left hanging.
Leaving us with this realization that the war has just escalated dramatically. It's moved beyond human strategy into a realm where skill alone is not going to be enough.
Not at all.